wants, that's his business. It's his life.
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Debate Podcast. I am BA along here with James J. Trey Martin and Jack Hurst, the main debaters here. I hope everybody's having a very good Saturday. We have a plethora of debate questions thanks to Jack. Of course, you know, NFL season is getting ready to be on its way. We're just in the training camp right now. We've had our first preseason game with Carolina and Arizona. Very good Hall of Fame game, considering. But it is what it is. Let's go football. All right, let's start off here. Which NFL quarterback will be the first one to lose a starting job during the regular season based on performance and not injury? Let's go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, it's good that you selected one of us. I don't get to pause. I mean, you're the host, Brian. You gotta, get it moving here.
I was trying to decide which one to go with.
Pick me first or second on this one. I mean, there were few choices. I mean, the key thing is paying attention to the question, which James often doesn't do. To lose the starting job, you have to have the starting job at the beginning of the season. You have to have the starting job. If you don't have the starting job, you can't lose the starting job. It's kind of like James in the movie Rudy. You saw Rudy, right, James?
Without a doubt.
You saw Rudy, and he said, get kicked off the team. You got to be on the team. He clarified it. So I'm clarifying it for you. Deshaun Watson is going to win the starting job at Cleveland. They're going to start Deshaun Watson. There's certain other positions where the starting job, someone else is going to have it. But in one or two cases who we think is someone who's going to be the starter, and I'm not going to name the team. I'm going to leave that up to James so he has a little more leeway on the answer. They're not going to have the starter who we predict is going to be the starter, but I'll go out on the limb and say Deshaun Watson is going to be the starter, and it's not going that much out on the limb. I mean, if Shedeur Sanders was going to start, he would have started, and he would have been lighting it up in training camp, and supposedly the two of them are pretty even in training camp, so they'll start the season with Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's built to last. Deshaun Watson is on his last year of his contract with the Browns. They paid big money for him. They're not going to reinvest in him. They're not going to pay him big quarterback money to come back next year after they paid him what was it, James Brown? $46 million a year, thereabouts, like on what was it, a
240 million total.
240 million to get one season out of him, to get one decent season out of him. If he has a decent year this year, they're not going to reinvest, and he's not going to come back for $15 million a year next year. Some team is going to be willing to pay him in the $30-40 million range, 3-year contract if he plays really, really well for the Browns this year. I don't think he will. I mean, he's been rusty. He was elite back in it, and I don't want to say his heyday because it wasn't that long ago. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, but it's been a few years. Can he still be effective? Perhaps he could be effective, but he's more likely to be an old Deshaun Watson rather than, the Deshaun Watson of old. And I just don't have a good feel about Deshaun Watson. I don't have a good feel about that Cleveland Brown team on offense as is. I don't see a good year for them. I could see them either going with Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback of the future or drafting a quarterback, but they have to find out what they have in Shedeur Sanders. They just have to find out conclusively. And last year, I think even James would agree with this. We give him an incomplete grade. We tell him to finish the course rather than give him an exact grade. At least I would give him an incomplete and say, you have to come back before I give you a grade. And the only way they're going to know what they have on him is playing him this year. Worst case scenario for the Browns would be to play Deshaun Watson the whole year and have him have a decent year. And you lose him next year anyway because you're not going to want to pay him, to reinvest in him. Or he's going to leave up his own accord and maybe want to get a new start elsewhere. So that's who I think the first quarterback is, starter, who's going to lose his job because of a non-injury. And because Deshaun Watson is on the last year of his contract, they're not going to be as concerned about his feelings. I mean, the coaches are going to say, oh, he's our franchise quarterback. We can't do this to him. Coaches are apprehensive to make a big change, a major change. They're very apprehensive. I don't think, at Cleveland, they're going to be nearly as apprehensive as they would be if you were a true franchise quarterback. That's going to be your first quarterback who's going to lose his starting job because of a non-injury. And I think it's going to happen early in the Cleveland Browns season, like the third or fourth game, unless Deshaun Watson isn't struggling at all. And I can't see that being the case.
So for the most part of your argument for Deshaun Watson, I could actually agree with. I could actually say there's a lot of things about this that saying he should, for all intents and purposes, he should definitely be the starter. You had me up until the point when you say you gave him an incomplete grade. He's got to have an F right now. You can't give him a C for being a Cleveland Brown.
Sanders, I said incomplete grade, not Deshaun
Oh, forgive me.
Sanders.
Oh, forgive me. Oh, okay, Shedeur. And I'm not going to give him an incomplete grade either. I mean, he got in there and took over and played half of the season. He played half the season. Just like for the Saints, Tyler Shuck definitely played half the season. He's got to get a grade regardless. You got in there, you played. That's more than enough time to show exactly who you are. Shedeur had a mixed bag. He threw for 1,400 yards, 7 TDs, 10 interceptions, 23 sacks. And so he was definitely in there enough to say, I'm not saying that he's not starter material. As a matter of fact, I think Shedeur will definitely be the starter. I just don't think it's going to be this year. I think Deshaun Watson, because they're giving him the opportunity to play, would that be my decision if I'm the owner? No, I'll chalk it up as a loss. There's no way. I'm definitely putting Shedeur in first, but that's not what they're doing right now. What they're doing, even though through training camp, they're showing Deshaun Watson has 76 of 126, 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He's throwing 60% in training camp. Shedeur has 93 of 132 at 70.5%, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. And Dylan Gabriel, we can just put him aside. We already know he's going to either be the third or the backup. And more than likely the third quarterback there. They're probably going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Sanders is beating Deshaun Watson, but I guarantee you they're still going to make Deshaun Watson that guy because they want to recoup from their investment. The person to me, I picked 2. I wrote his name down like you just did. I also wrote 2 other quarterbacks down. I wrote down Kirk Cousins.
You're criticizing me for being on the fence, and you're coming up with 3 or 4 teams.
No, I'm just saying I disagree with you. I just wrote names down and I put them in order. I'm not on the fence. I just want to. I got the name. I just want to put it out there of guys potentially, like you just said. I agree with you. Potentially that Deshaun Watson could be on the men, but I just don't think he is because the owner. I don't think he is. Kirk Cousins is another one. But my pick, since I'm not going to just confuse you here. I'm going to go with my pick and tell you that I think Jacoby Brissett is going to be the guy that loses his job to Carson Beck. And you're going to say, I watched the show yesterday and you were talking about how good Carson Beck.
To be replaced as the starter, you have to be the starter. Are you telling me? Now, you might be right, whatever you
He's going to be the starter. He's going to be the starter.
Say that conclusively. This is Jacoby Brissett. Look at his history. He's not getting paid a tremendous amount of quarterback money. He's not. He's the lowest paid starting QB in the league.
Okay, Jack.
Carson Beck might be starting the season. It's 50-50 whether Carson Beck or Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter.
Well, give me an opportunity to make my argument here. Let me finish my argument. All right. So that being said, I'm saying Jacoby Brissett, he's giving the starting position. He has not played in the first game. I think that if anyone has making a position for them to play, for them to start, they would have given him an opportunity to play in this game and allow him to get some type of position to say, okay. And even if it was the third quarterback, he would have got some playing time to show if he can play or not. If they're sitting him and making sure that he does not hurt himself, and he's probably getting the first team reps during training camp, he is obviously the guy that's going to start. That makes all total sense to me, Jack. I'm thinking he's going to be the guy starting. Now, will he lose his job to Carson Beck? That's my argument here. I just think that looking at what the kid can do in that first game, and then again, mind you, it's just the first game. I think there's a great potential that he could lose his starting job. Jacoby Brissett can lose his starting job to Carson Beck because, again, he's relatively high enough of a pick to come in and take over. You look at what he's doing with the second and third stringers. Can you only imagine what he would do with a Marvin Harrison Jr., with a Michael Wilson, with the running back behind him, with the kid that is just drafted out of Notre Dame, and the other two running backs that will be there as well. I think their offense will be a little bit better, and I think the type of quarterback that Carson Beck is, he needs that talent around him. You saw what he had at Georgia. You saw what he had at Miami. And I think that he will be an excellent choice to pick. And at some point, if they're not winning, they're going to drop one of these quarterbacks. Direct Love. Thank you. What's his first name? Love. Jordan Love. No, not Jordan Love. No, that's the quarterback. I'm sorry. That's not Jordan Love. It's
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love. Thank you.
Wait. James. But this is the thing. There's a big difference between Carson Beck and, let's say, Cade Klubnik with the Jets. The Jets are going to want to take a look at Cade Klubnik, but they're not thinking in terms of him being their franchise quarterback. But if he comes in and he's lights out, it's possible he could change the equation. It's possible. The Jets have a bit of an open mind, but they're basically gearing towards drafting a quarterback in the next draft. Okay, Arizona's not sure whether they're going to draft a quarterback next year. They absolutely want to know what they have in Carson Beck, much more than the Jets want to know what they have in Cade Klubnik. If Carson Beck is really good this year, Arizona's not drafting a quarterback. If Cade Klubnik has to be lights out for the Jets, for them not to draft a quarterback. Okay, he can't just be okay. Carson Beck can be okay, and they might move forward with them, the Cardinals, without drafting a quarterback. Fernando Mendoza, you mentioned with the Raiders. Everyone knows Mendoza is going to start at some point. It's a question of when, and there's no rush on it. Mendoza might be on the bench all year. Might be a full year, Kirk Cousins.
Potentially, yes.
You know that.
That's why. That's why I didn't select him. You're right. I agree that there's a great. Even Tom Brady came out and said may suggest that he may need to sit for a while until he's ready. And I definitely agree with that. But I think we're jumping the gun with Carson Beck. I think with this team that we're going to allow the guy that we had there already that had some success there to start, which is why we gave him a new contract for 1 year, mind you, but another contract to get him out the gate as the bridge quarterback. He's definitely going to be the bridge quarterback. I just saw the success. We don't know what Carson Beck has done now. Carson Beck has out there against second and third stringers. We haven't seen him go against the ones, against a vanilla defense.
Beck will start the season if he struggles for 2-3 games.
That's exactly. Exactly.
Who's losing the job? You got to at least start the season to lose the job.
He's going to start the season. That's my point.
That's the question, James. Who would quarterback who's going to be starting the season is going to be losing the job? I'm not saying winning the job in training camp.
Come on. But you specifically say which will be the first to lose the starting job. We don't know.
Starting job. Right.
Again, he's going to be the starter. That's all I'm telling you. I'm saying he's going to be the starter. There's no way, for all intents and purposes, he will be the starter going out the gate, but he will lose his job because we don't know how good this team will be. He's going to be the starter. That's what I'm saying. We don't know everybody that if they're a starter or not. For instance, go back to Russell Wilson. We knew that Matt Flynn was going to be the starter because we brought him in and paid him a whole bunch of money, but nobody knew what was going to happen with Russell Wilson. I mean, that's fair enough. At this juncture, at this point, I'm looking at, because of how they allowed him to play, not to play, in Jacoby Brissett, he is penciled in as a starter. They gave him the money, but if he gets beat out, then that's just a different story. But I'm going from the point in right now. What I'm believing and what the team is believing is that this quarterback is going to be the starter because, again, you got a third round draft pick that's relatively unknown in the NFL. Jacoby Brissett has stripes, has pinned stripes on the wall. He's got skins. He's got skins on the wall. He's shown it with this particular team. He's shown that he can win with this team. So there's no way logically that if I'm an owner or if I'm a coach coming in, that I'm going to look at a rookie and say that just beat a few the second and third stringers that you got the keys to the car already. There's no way I can say that. I'm looking at Jacoby Brissett as my starter until further notice. That's just my argument there.
There's some other. You brought up a good point too, Jack, about your quarterback situation there as Jets. Geno could flop, and then you'd have to have somebody come in there and take over for that because I don't think there's going to be too much room for tolerable bad quarterback play. And I think that's going to be one of them. There's other teams that are also on that edge, although further away from it. Maybe Carolina's Bryce Young. He's got to have a make or break a year because if he falls on his face during the season, you got Kenny Pickett behind him, and you got the King. Now King is not he's just he had a good game, blah blah blah, whatever. But that was preseason game. We're gonna let that one float a little bit, but. You got Kenny Pickett back there. They got him to be a veteran presence.
Saying to myself to agree on something when you mentioned Kenny Pickett. Get out of here. Come on, Brian.
He's not taking that guy's job. Kenny Pickett has been moved around like I don't even want to say what he's been moved around like. He's been passed around like you know what. And I just think that he's not going to come there and take Bryce Young's job. There's no way. He's there to be specifically a backup, and Bryce Young showed a lot more promise in last year, and that he's taking command of the team.
First of all, you can never say no. That's not going to never happen because, like I said, the management is not happy with the quarterback. They're not happy with. Yes, they are. They have come out and said that many times that he is going to be judged this year. He cannot fall on his face. Or they're going to go a different direction next year because this is the last year of his contract.
Then next year, you really think Kenny Pickett is the guy? You really think Pickett is the guy to take that?
He's going to be – if he falls on his face in the middle of the season, Kenny Pickett's going to come in there and have to play. I agree with James,
actually. I agree with James. I mean, James could do the talking on this.
You would agree with James. Anyway. Anyway, no, but I'm with you, James, on the fact that the Carson Beck thing. I'm just giving you other options, okay? I didn't say it was going to happen, but those are other teams you got to look at. But the Arizona Cardinals are the most definite one with Carson Beck and Brissett. I think Brissett. They pay Brissett. You're right. They're going to start him. There's no reason to pay him if you're not going to start him. Okay.
Guys,
No matter how
some fun. Can I just say something?
Sure.
In a few weeks, one of the teams is probably going to make a move. So we'll just revisit it for a minute and have fun with one another to see what actually happened. We'll find out what happened.
Yeah.
We'll have fun. I'm not going to rub it
Absolutely.
in. I don't expect you can give me a dig if I'm wrong about it. It'll be okay. But we're going to get our insight thinking a few weeks into the season. I think we maybe all agree on that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it ain't permanent. Yeah, yeah. You do have a quarterback issue there too. I just hope that Geno comes out playing really well. That's what he has to do.
Geno can't be the quarterback beyond next season.
Well, yeah,
he can't. That would be a disaster for the Jets.
He's a bridge quarterback for them too. So
yeah. But what are you going to do, Jack, if Geno actually starts winning with the squad that you have? You legit have it.
I'll draft the quarterback the way I would all along, and maybe let Geno start next season, the beginning of the year at most.
Well, what if you're in a position? My question is, what if you're in a position? What if you're okay? I will succeed to you saying that. But what my question is to you: what if Geno Smith shows you what he did in Seattle was not a fluke? A couple of seasons, he did that like 2 or 3 seasons under the guise of Pete Carroll. Okay. What if he comes out with talent that you have on your offense and balls out and you win 10 plus games and you can't get the first round drafted quarterback that you want? No. I'm just saying, what if that happens? What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
They replace Geno as Seahawks quarterback and they win the Super Bowl. He goes to the Raiders as their starter, and they get the #1 overall choice in the draft.
The team was garbage. That team was garbage. I'm just saying you have no. Come on, that team was garbage. Name me any comparable receiver that you have to any receiver that was there in.
Was better than any
a tight end though. He was just a tight end. I said a receiver, sir. I'm talking about actually legit guys you could throw to on the ends out there at X, Y, and Z. Name me any.
Listen, I'm not going to argue because he's my quarterback on the chest. I don't want him to mean one of my own players, but
you are. It's too late. You've already done it.
He's not good. I mean, he's not good. He's not. I don't care. That you could say about anyone. They have a great year. Stay with them.
Brian. This guy always says, "What if?" What if? And he can't take this what if here.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying what if. I wouldn't.
I'm saying I'm giving what if. I'm giving you the what if.
No matter what for the following year. Because it's only going to end badly. He has no future as the New York Jets franchise quarterback. None at all. None at all. And he just.
And Jack did answer your question pretty much. Even if he balls out in New York, I would still, you can get draft pick. I mean, we've seen it happen before, and move up in the draft to get a quarterback. Which
they do have. They have it. They have the capital.
We're #1 draft picks, and I'm going to stick with Geno Smith. It's ludicrous.
Well, but I understand what you're saying. What the question was, what happens if Geno does ball out in there? You would give him how many year contract did they give him anyway? 2 year, 1 year?
I think it's 2, I believe. Was it 2, Jack?
It can't be guaranteed next year. I'm not sure, but it's not guaranteed next season. I mean, I'm virtually certain of that. I think it was a 2 year.
But what I'm saying is that's perfect if he does ball out. Okay, you still get a
backup. He'll be the backup.
No. Don't let him be the backup. Don't start doing that. You let Geno play another year. You let him settle out his contract. Let him play another year. Let that rookie quarterback go under him.
Yeah. What are you talking about the year, Bjorn? He's going to be terrible. He might have a game.
I got a feeling, Jack. I got a feeling.
Terrible.
I got a feeling you have a really good offense, and I think Geno's going to flourish in that offense. I'm saying you have a talented group of people that's on that team, and I just think that the Jets are going to make some noise
The Jets
in that
already
division.
made a terrible pick, that tight end from Oregon that they got.
Well, I understand he's having some issues with the hernia.
I said it off the bat. It was a dumb pick, and it's turning out that way. He's injured,
No one could have
struggling
predicted
training
this.
camp.
No
He's
one
a
could have predicted
private-
an injury, Jack.
And they
Come on, no one could have predicted that injury.
Had very little success in the NFL since he left the Eagles.
Okay, no one could have predicted that injury. It happens. It's just what it is. But the kid is still talented. So, and he's not out for the
He's
season.
always going to be talented, but he's never going to be that good.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Let's move on to the next question.
Let's move on to the next question. I'll give this one to James because Arizona is probably the most likely to change their quarterback from the starting quarterback to the backup.
That would have been my second selection.
The Cleveland one's
That's
intriguing
close
too.
enough.
Cleveland one's intriguing too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so let's go to another football question. What the hell? If Aaron Donald does make a comeback, will he still be one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL? Go James.
This may be a very controversial answer, but I'm going to say no. And I love Aaron Donald. I think history shows me that he's one of the greatest to ever play the game, but he's coming back playing half a season. He's not coming back playing a full season. So how do you gauge that, and how do you show respect to the other players that you were comparing him to and saying, is he still one of the best defensive tackle in the NFL? I'm going to say maybe he's at the bottom tier, so maybe that does include him as one of the best. But it's hard to gauge that when you have guys that are playing 17 games in and out with double teams that are still showing you dominant numbers, that are still doing everything, and he's getting pretty much a pass to come in and be a situational player. And he's playing next to arguably one of the best players, if not the best players on defense in the game. So when you have guys that are pretty much doing it alone and creating their own, like Jeffrey Simmons, that guy's doing it by himself. I don't know anybody else on that defensive line that's giving him the help that he needs to be what he is. You have Chris Jones kind of doing it by himself, being a dominant player. Now, you look at some of the other guys like Zach Allen, Dexter Lawrence, Jalen Carter. Those guys do have other players next to them that are good. Leonard Williams was the number one guy last year. He was the number one guy with 32. He had 7 sacks. I just think that Cam Hayward, a 37-year-old. I was looking at some of the guys that are over 30. Leonard Williams, Chris Jones, DeForest Buckner, Cam Hayward. Those guys came in and are still doing it at great levels. So I will say that I would give him a pass a little bit to be maybe kind of at the bottom of the list, but in the top 5. But it's totally unfair to really ask that question. So I'm going to say no, because these other guys are playing a full season. So I'm going to go no. I'm not going to spend too much time on that question.
Yeah, it's unpredictable to a large extent. I'm going to agree with James on that. He was kind of going back and forth, but the answer would be yes. He could still be one of the elite guys, and one of the reasons is what James had mentioned, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett playing with him. Myles Garrett's the one who's going to be drawing the double teams that Aaron Donald has drawn his whole career. So Aaron Donald, it's not going to be as hard to get to the quarterback as it was before. Whether he's physically up to the task, we'll see. He's an older player, but he's savvy. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to come back to the NFL to be a mediocre player. He's still going to be real good. And if he's a situational pass rusher, that means all his energy is going to be going into the plays when he's in the game. He's not going to be in for virtually every play like before. He's not going to be as fatigued. He's going to get to pick his spots. And just because he's been away it doesn't mean he's lost a great deal. I understand the thing about explosive power, but again, he's going to have Myles Garrett with him now. That's a game changer to help Aaron Donald out. A real, game changer. Aaron Donald was so head and shoulders above virtually every other defensive end in the NFL. What's left is still going to make him elite. He doesn't have to be as good as he was before, but he can perform on an elite level as one of the best guys on the Pro Bowl level. So I got to believe Aaron Donald doesn't come back unless he really believes he can perform on an elite level. The only other reason to come back would be if he's tapped out and he needs the money. That would be the only other reason. And we never know what the case is with any athlete with that. So I'm going to say, yeah, because of the nature of the team and Myles Garrett there, Aaron Donald is going to be on an elite level. And when the season ends, we're going to say, he's still one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. Even though the numbers might not show it, if he's a situational pass rusher, he's not going to rack up as many stats. But if you prorate the time he's in and how effective he is when he's in the game, he's going to be, I think, elite during the times he's in games.
I think it's fair to say that you can question whether or not he will be elite because of being, like Liz said, he's been away from the game 2 years.
Yeah,
this is a grind. This is a grinding game. I mean, it's and being in the middle too as well. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he can't because I mean the guy is a monster. Still, you look at him physically. Physically, when he got out there for that practice, he still looks. I mean, pushing a sled is one thing, but getting out there in front of players and double teams is a whole nother thing. I'll be interested to see how he does with that. And I'm just saying that again, being one of the elite again, it's a different ball game when you come back in after a layoff and playing a grinding game of football, which I see maybe he's taking the 8 games off to get himself acclimated back to football again. I don't know. Maybe he'll come practice and whatnot and just play certain games. We don't know because he's still technically not signed yet. But I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's coming back to play. You don't get out there to do that and see. But I think he's taking his time. He probably doesn't want to be in training camp, which I don't.
Well, you said it best. If he can't be elite, if financially he's okay and he can't be elite anymore, I don't think he'd play. Right. I don't think he's screwed up.
Right. And fair enough. I agree with that. But yeah, I still think it's a big question mark, and I don't know if he's top 5 or not in this league as a DT.
Well, we don't know. We didn't set a number top 5. If you're top 12, you could still be elite.
And you didn't say he had to be elite either. You said he's still one of the best defensive tackles.
One of the best.
There you go. You don't count. You don't count too many as the best when you're looking at the best.
We didn't say as good as he was before. I'll agree he won't be as good as he was before.
But one of the best means you're top. We're talking top 5 or top 10. One of the best.
He'll be as good as Michael Jordan was when he was a Washington Wizard.
That's not saying much, sir. That's not saying much.
Jordan was a very good player, one of the better players in the league when he was a Wizard. And he wasn't the same player.
Not for the Wizards. That's not saying much.
That's not saying nothing at all. I think Aaron Donald will be he could be a top 10 defensive tackle in the games. I think he can be that. I don't think they necessarily need him to be like that. I don't think he has the capability to be elite. Okay,
right.
There's a lot of good defensive tackles in the league, but it really kind of falls after. If you look at the defensive tackles in our league, it kind of falls after about 5 or 6. So to say that he can be in the top 10 is still giving him his props because he's only going to be playing 8 games if he comes, if the contract stipulates that he'll be playing 8 games. I guarantee those are going to be against division rivals and against teams that they have to beat, like Philadelphia, because they're going to play Philadelphia this season. So he's got to come in there and push all of his, but he doesn't necessarily have to be at that level because he does have a nice defensive line that can help him out. And he's probably going to come in there like through maybe like third down situations, second or third down situations where they're going to have to pass the ball, because that's when he's at his best, is when they pass the ball, when the opposite teams pass the ball. So I think he could be top 10. I don't think he could be top 5. That's just all I'm saying. He's not going to be elite anymore. Period.
Fair enough.
Because he is old and he has missed 2 years of the game, so you have to acclimate yourself.
And mind you, I don't mind being proven wrong. He's one of my favorite players. I just try to be real about situations. So I if he proves me wrong, hey, man, it's all better for the Rams. Yeah.
All righty. So from the NFL to the NBA. Mr. Kevin Durant, this dude is hilarious. So he says that the Philadelphia 76er team that LeBron James is joining is more talented than the Golden State Warriors team that he joined. Do you agree, Jack?
I actually do agree with him. I actually do. If you look at the individual pieces, now, are they as good as the Warriors? No, the Warriors had great chemistry. They played great together. But if you look at the individual pieces, I mean, Jaylen Brown, for example, is, more talented than Klay Thompson was, when Klay played for Golden State. You can argue who is a better player. You could easily argue that Jaylen Brown was just point blank a better player than Klay Thompson. And I think he actually was better than Klay Thompson was when Thompson was in his prime. Now, Steph Curry's the best of the group. I'll acknowledge that. I'll even say he's better than Joel Embiid. I'd rather have Steph Curry on my team than I would a healthy Joel Embiid. But with that said, Joel Embiid is one of the best players in the NBA when he's healthy. He's a great, great player. Tyrese Maxey is a potential breakout star. He's got loads and loads of talent. And you just look at those Warrior teams. I mean, their big three was Steph Curry, one of the all-time greats. Klay Thompson, a heck of a player. But at most, Klay Thompson is a borderline Hall of Fame type player. At most, okay? I mean, he's not a great, great player. No one is going to, talk about the all-time great players and mention Klay Thompson. Draymond Green isn't as good as Joel Embiid. He's just not. And so if you look at the guys who LeBron is joining, I mean, Embiid, healthy, one of the best players in the NBA. Jaylen Brown, one of the best players in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey, who could be on the verge of being a major star. Okay? And now LeBron, too. And they have Edgecombe, one of the best rookies, last year, who's probably just going to get better. And they made some off-season moves to add depth to their bench. And the Warriors were a better team, but not a more talented team. I'll acknowledge that. The Warriors, who Kevin Durant joined, was a 73-win team. They were a great, great team who got upset by Cleveland blowing the 3-1. Like, they were more talented. He said talented, not better. You guys.
Okay, let him continue his argument. Continue it, sir.
Talented, not better. So I agree with Embiid that this Sixer team of Embiid, Brown, and Maxey, their big three, is more talented than, I don't want to say Steph, because Steph is number one in the group, but certainly more talented than Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. More talented than those other two for sure.
Okay.
So are we including Kevin Durant on the Golden State Warrior team he joined?
No, not Kevin Durant. We're not including him on that team. He's saying
you're not including LeBron James either.
Just like I'm not including LeBron. He's saying each of them joining their new team who had more talent, not who was a better team. Golden State's obviously a better team, 73 wins. And they got also Golden State the better coach. Difference
right.
in difference in
Fair enough. I'll go with what you're saying here. let's exclude Kevin Durant. Let's exclude LeBron James and what the team they're joining. But you have to pick the age of the team and the health of the team at the time that they're joining. So LeBron James is joining not the MVP Embiid. He's joining one-legged hopscotch, pick up your jacks and everything else Embiid. That's who he's joining. Who you don't know if he's going to play 40 games or not. That's who he's joining. So, and when KD joined this team, they were talented. They were very talented. Steph Curry is arguably the best shooter in the game. That changes everything. Where is he going to be? Who's going to guard him? He's the most talented player on that team by his shooting. Klay Thompson. You might say arguably borderline Hall of Famer, but Klay Thompson's a two-way player. Maxi's not a two-way player. He's a more offensive guy, but he don't have the defense that Klay Thompson had at that moment when he was playing, when they joined him. Draymond Green defensively, come on, man. As a playmaker, he was extremely talented. There's a reason that those guys were winning. There's a reason against LeBron. They were winning. Not just their coach, but their talent on that team. I love Jaylen Brown individually. But what did he do last year with the talent on the team that they had? I know they lost some players. They lost a couple players. They lost
a great season. He carried that Celtic team when Tatum was out.
I'm talking about when it mattered. When it mattered, when they got the player back that they needed. When it mattered in the playoffs. What happened against the same team that we're talking about right now that actually played some games? They lost to them, down 3-1. I mean, they were up. Weren't they up 3-1 too? They blew it. What happened? Talented or not, what happened to them?
They blew a 3-1 lead the year before to Cleveland.
No, I'm talking about Boston. I'm talking about last year. What did Boston do last year? They were up 3-1 and they lost to Philadelphia. So in the first round, right? The first round. Yes. In the first, was it first or second?
First round, yeah. The 76ers played Knicks and then the Knicks played Cleveland.
No, I'm not making your point.
Jaylen Brown to that Sixer team. Thank you. You're pointing out how talented.
Not exactly, sir. I'm just saying I'm looking at Jaylen Brown and potentially his issues that may have been on a team that we don't know if the chemistry is even good or not yet. We don't even know if the chemistry is even good or not yet. They haven't even played. Let me finish. They haven't even played a down yet with Embiid, who we don't know if he'll even play the first game or not because he has always had health issues. So I'm just saying, talented. I'm not going to go off past talent. I'm going to go off what you got now, what LeBron is joining now, what he's joining now. I mean, VJ Edgecombe, yet to be determined. We're not sure. He's a promising rookie, but we're not sure. Iguodala, and also let's go here. You said team. You didn't say starting five. Let's look at the bench, sir. Let's look at the bench of what they had. So they had David West, Zaza Pachulia in Golden State, Sean Livingston, Nick Young, JaVale McGee, Quinn Cook, Kevin Looney. Let's talk about this team's bench here in Philadelphia. Anthony Simmons, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Dean Wade, Dominic Barlow, Justin Edwards, and LeBaron Filan. Come on, man. That bench in Golden State would be far more talented than this bench that we have here in Philadelphia. So you're telling me you didn't say just the starting five. You said the team that they're joining. They got an excellent bench in comparison to them. And that would ultimately be the issue where you don't know for sure, again, if Embiid is going to play because of his health.
Again, wait. We're not talking about injury prone or whatever. We're talking about how good. Wait 1 second. We're talking about how good Embiid is. That's what we're talking about. And if all factors equal, the two most talented guys, if you combine both teams, are Embiid and Steph Curry. Those are the two biggest forces.
So you're telling me when Shaq joined LeBron that it was fair to LeBron that he got the
prime.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Embiid may be past his prime with health. You can't. You can't exclude that, Jack. You can't exclude that because he didn't play.
He's not past his prime. He was just hurt. He's motivated now. There's no one on Golden State now, with the possible exception of Steph Curry, who's as good as them. I mean, at the time, who is as good as Embiid. Klay Thompson was never as good as Joel Embiid, different positions. Draymond Green certainly wasn't as good as Joel Embiid. Put both guys at their best. Joel Embiid is a better player than Draymond Green.
But at their best, that's what you're saying. Health has to be included into that equation. If you're not there,
if someone isn't playing, or
even if he's playing, he's not that. I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong, but Embiid, when he's healthy, he's one of the greatest. He's one of the greatest. But last year, the last couple of years, he's played a collection of what, 30-something games? I forgot, 50-something games or something like that. That's bad. That's not good. That's not great at all. I mean, I just think that, yes, if you're joining a team on paper, if I'm looking at MVP Embiid that played the most games he's ever played in 65 games, fine, I'll give you that. But that's not what LeBron. We're not sure if that's what LeBron is joining this year. That's not. We're sure if he's going to join that. So I really almost have to exclude Embiid.
Listen, it's a risk.
But we can't go right.
If Embiid is healthy, that changes everything.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jack. Let me ask you a question real quick. That team the one that Durant was on, that was the one that won 73 games, right?
He joined them. No, they won 73 the year before.
Do you think, okay, say LeBron gets on here. I'm just going to throw a little thing in here. So we're going to put LeBron and Durant on their teams. If LeBron gets on 76ers, do you see the 76ers winning 73 games?
What are we talking? LeBron is going to the 76ers.
I know that, but are they going to win 73 games?
No.
Why not? They're a better team. They're supposed to be more talented.
No, we're talking about individual pieces. We're more talented. We're not saying
we're talking about a team
talent. No. I'm talking about more actual talent. I made it clear in the beginning, the Warriors were a better team. They have a better coach. They have a more stable organization than the Sixers have. Maybe LeBron could tie the pieces together with the Sixers. Maxey hasn't reached his potential. Maybe he never will, but with LeBron, he certainly has a better chance to. Jaylen Brown is outstanding, one of the best players in the NBA. I don't know how he's going to fit into the Sixers. He might be great with them. He might be the next A.J. Brown, the equivalent with the Eagles, for example. It might not work out for Jaylen Brown with the Sixers, but his talent is enormous. And if Embiid is healthy, and I know it's always an if, I mean, he's easily on the short list of best players in the NBA. There's more actual impact talent on the Sixers than there is, and the Golden State Warriors at that time. Look, Thompson and Klay worked wonderfully together as a unit together. Their teamwork wonderfully, and that had a lot to do with it. Not the talent, the chemistry had an enormous amount to do with it with Draymond Green. It was, not so much the individual talent. They played so great together.
Okay, my answer is still Golden State, and that's where I'm going with that.
I mean, first of all, you have to revisit this after the NBA season's over with, because really you're putting a lot of stuff into what the 76ers can be and what they will be.
No, you're not. Brian, I hate to cut in. I'm going to say automatically proven wrong because the Warriors won. The Warriors won 2 championships in a row when Durant joined them. The 76ers are not likely to win 2 championships in a row.
But you're assuming, first of all, we're assuming they're going to win a championship in the first place. Well, James already has assumed
I'm
that.
not assuming that.
The point is, though, the team that they have right now, the 76ers, and you got to account for the fact that Embiid's been injured. Okay, the team that they have right now, Embiid is an injury-prone person. Jaylen Brown has said that he wants to take over. He's getting really right back into the same situation he had with Boston because he's not really going to be the primary guy. You still got Embiid in there when he's healthy. So how is he going to mesh with that situation? The whole thing is about chemistry. We don't know how these players. There's a lot of balls to go around in that lineup. A lot of egos.
Let me put it this way, Jack.
LeBron is a little bit better. LeBron's a little bit. He's older. He's a statesman. He's going to be the one that's going to be like, look, I just want to win games. I can defer to this person or I can defer to that person. He did it with the Lakers. So I'm not worried about LeBron. I'm worried about the other people around him. That's what I'm worried about.
I will put the starting 5 matchup here, and I'll give you my picks on who I pick on over the other. So if Steph Curry versus Tyrese Maxey, Steph Curry got that win.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant versus LeBron. Oh, excuse me.
Kevin Durant wasn't on there. He said
no. I'm just saying. I get it. But I'm going to go with. I'm going to name the starting 5. Let's just say these two teams met in the finals. Let's just say the 20s. What year was that? 2017. 2017 versus 2026. I get what you're saying. I'm just adding my mix in. That's all I'm doing. All right. I get what you're saying. I'm adding my mix in. No, you don't get your panties into a bunch, sir. Please.
No.
All right.
All right. LeBron, no Durant.
Right. No, I'm going to add them in. I'm going to add them in just for this.
Oh.
I'm just saying, just because again, I'm just saying that. Let's just say they met in the finals. Let's say that team versus West met this team in the finals. Who would win or the matchup? How would it look? The matchup. I say Steph Curry versus Maxey. I'm going with Steph. Klay Thompson versus Jaylen Brown. I'm going with Jaylen Brown. Draymond Green versus Joel Embiid. Believe it or not, I'm going with Draymond Green here. I just think the health of a Draymond Green would be a far better player for his team than Joel Embiid would be for his team.
If Joel Embiid is playing and he's healthy, you would take Draymond Green over him, you're telling me?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I just think that Draymond's more mobile. I think he's a great defender as well.
I agree with you on that one. If everyone is healthy and at their best.
No, I'm just saying he's not at this year. He's not at his best. Even when he plays, he's not at his best. Because he plays on a bum leg. I'm just telling you, he's not at his best. That's probably why they didn't get where they at. If you have
him injured.
Yes, exactly, without a doubt.
If he's not playing, I agree with you.
I'm saying even if he's playing, he's not. He's about 60-70%. That's even if he's playing. That's just where he's at in his career right now. That's just what he's been giving me. So yes, I'm going to take Draymond Green in 2017 versus 2026 at Joel Embiid. Andre Iguodala, LeBron James, of course, but a 42-year-old LeBron James versus a young Iguodala is different from a LeBron James playing him in 2017, 2018. It might be a little different, but I'm still going to take LeBron James. And Kevin Durant and VJ Edgecombe, I'm probably going to go with Kevin Durant on that as well. So I think the Warriors Warriors team still looks better. It still looks better by an edge, a small edge.
Good morning, Linda.
Look at yes.
Hey, Linda.
Good morning, Miss Linda.
We're good. Yeah, we're always fired up. These two here, man, they're always fired up. All right, I don't know.
Iron sharpens iron. Jack is a great. Yeah, he's iron sharpens iron.
Are you guys done with this topic?
No, yeah. I mean, it's the intangibles involved all the time. Whether player is hurt or not, I get that. Sometimes we look at it from a different perspective. I look at it from the perspective if everyone's going to be healthy, but I know it's a big if. It's a big if all the time. My Yankees have been struggling on and off because Aaron Judge has been out. But if I'm going to say Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball, someone can count and say, no, he isn't. He's been injured a lot. So I don't have him as one of the best players. It depends what perspective you're looking at it from.
Well, you got to look at this too. Kevin Durant, first of all, he just needs to shut the hell up. Anyway, second of all, you can't compare a team that's already been there to a team that's just starting. So to me, the 76ers are the potential. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to beat it. We all know what happened to the 2004 Lakers, all right? Everybody said they got that lineup, they're going to win the championship, no problem. Well, they got to the championship, but what happened? They lost because
they got swept.
I got a question.
Gentlemen
sweep. Yeah.
I got a question. I'm sorry, Brian.
And then New England, 17-0. Oh, they're getting to the Super Bowl. They're going to win the Super Bowl and be the most undefeated team. Guess what happened? The Giants happened. So it doesn't make a difference how many good players you got on a team. It's just like when we're talking about the Rams. You could see all these good players on there. They can have that roster, but paper doesn't win championships. The players win the championships. So you got to play the season.
But it's hypothetical. For example, okay, James's favorite athlete of all time, Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas said, and this could have been a debate question that had, and since we're talking about Kevin Durant, he said, had Kevin Durant been on the Chicago Bulls instead of Jordan, they would have won the same amount of championships, if not more. If you flip-flop Durant for Jordan. I mean, that's a thought-provoking question. Is it possible?
No, it's not.
I don't think so.
That's pure hate on that one. That's pure hate. I love Isaiah Thomas, but I just totally disagree with him, man.
Stephen A. Smith was getting into a debate, I think, with Kendrick Perkins. And Kendrick Perkins said that Kevin Durant's not one of the top 10 players of all time, maybe a top 20. Stephen A. was insisting Kevin Durant is the top 10 player of all time. Now, if you break down some of the guys who we think are top 10 players of all time, it's arguable. I mean, can we say for sure that Bird was better than Kevin Durant? I mean, I don't know. Can we say Magic was better than Kevin Durant? Different positions, different style of play. I don't know. Isaiah and Kevin Durant. It's arguable. Give me either guy. I love both guys, as players. But it's, not cut and dry.
It's tangible, like things like you mentioned. There's so many variables there as well. I would look at how you have to bring that argument. At the end of the day, it's still an opinion. I mean, when you come down to it, and I think it's just Durant. The eye test. I mean, I would say Durant. It's so many players to include and look back, go through the history of basketball, and guys that won. And I mean, I don't normally agree with Kendrick Perkins, but I would have to. And I think the reason why Kendrick Perkins, he always harps on the fact that he joined the Warriors, and it's a credible argument. It's just like that kind of tarnishes or brings an asterisk to his legacy, and he knows it, and that's why he comes out. He has he has a burner account where he argues with any and everybody about anything because he's sensitive about his legacy, because he knows that and that's the reason why he left, because he knows like this not working for me. Who leaves a team when you're winning? Who leaves a team when you're winning? He left because he knows like maybe
Green had some conflict.
Yeah, but if you're a dog, you're gonna be like, Draymond, sit down.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this.
That's just the wallpaper talking. That ain't what's going on. I think James has hit that run right on the numbers. That he was getting chided for the fact that I want to join the people that beat me in the first place, and that's not a good look. So, and then you want to try to cut out and do on your own, and really. You needed those people to play well, because you're not the guy that. This is what I say. If you put Durant on Jordan's team, ain't no damn way he's winning no damn six championships. He doesn't have that leadership ability that Michael Jordan had a killer instinct. Period. Durant does not have that. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong, and he can put up 30, 40 in a game for you, but he doesn't have that killer instinct. He does not.
Yeah, and next week, a debate question very quickly. We're running out of time. If I forget, add it in there. if we had an imaginary NBA draft, the greatest players in history, they were all 22 years old getting drafted, would Durant be drafted in the top 20? You know, when you look at the history of the game, would he be a top 20 selection?
I can answer that now and say yes. I can. I mean,
Well, we don't have
Durant.
the time really.
Oh, yeah,
now.
yeah,
We'll
for sure.
up on it next week. Yeah.
I would just
That's a
say he
good
was a
question.
he was a unicorn for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely. Great show.
Yep. Great
Good
debate
stuff,
question,
guys.
guys. Good stuff. Yep. Way to
See
get on
you
stuff.
guys tomorrow morning. I'm sure we'll be back to the NFL full force soon.
Pretty soon, yeah.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we'll see you guys next week for the debate show, 8 a.m. Join us. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend.
See you guys.